Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we're bringing news about the Ridgecrest Jail, news of Apple fighting a court order to help the FBI, a CHP report of a traffic accident on Route 395, an update on the Howard property cleanup. Hey, there's a carnival coming right now in Ridgecrest. Today's KZGN Talking Points editorial, weather, sports, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake. This is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News Crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Wignick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Our lead story for today is that it was announced by Chief Strand from the Ridgecrest Police Department that he has been informed by Sheriff Youngblood that the jail here in Ridgecrest will stay open until July 1st. He announced at the end of the last week's special town hall meeting here that he and Supervisor Gleason would get together to see if they could find a way to keep it open until at least then. The chief continued in quoting Youngblood that this does not mean the jail will stay open past July 1st, only that it will be open until then. This will allow time for the parties with interest in keeping it open to get together to see how to fund its operations. Next fiscal year, the county's budget for next year looks real bad. The AP is reporting that Apple Incorporated CEO Tim Cook says his company will fight a federal magistrate's order to help the FBI hack into an encrypted iPhone belonging to one of the San Bernardino, California shooters. The company said that could potentially undermine encryption for millions of other users. Cook's response, posted early Wednesday on the company's website, set the stage for a legal fight between the federal government and Silicon Valley with broad implications for digital privacy and national security. U.S. Magistrate Judge Sherry Pym had ordered Apple to help the FBI break into an iPhone belonging to Syed Farook, one of the shooters in the December 2nd attack that killed 14 people. Farook and his wife died in a gun battle with police. The ruling by Pym, a former federal prosecutor, requires Apple to supply software the FBI can load onto Farook's county-owned work iPhone to bypass a self-destruct feature that erases the phone's data after too many unsuccessful attempts to unlock it. The FBI wants to be able to try different combinations in rapid sequence until it finds the right one. Cook called the ruling an example of government overreach and said, "This moment calls for public discussion, and we want our customers and people around the country to understand what is at stake." He argued that the order has implications far beyond the legal case at hand. He said it could undermine encryption by using specialized software to create an essential backdoor akin to a master key, capable of opening hundreds of millions of locks. In the wrong hands, this software, which does not exist today, would have the potential to unlock any iPhone in someone's physical possession, Cook wrote. The FBI may use different words to describe this tool, but make no mistake, building a version of iOS that bypasses security in this way could undeniably create a backdoor, and while the government may argue that its use would be limited to this case, there is no way to guarantee such control. Federal prosecutors told him that they cannot access Farook's work phone because they don't know his passcode and Apple has not cooperated. Under U.S. law, a work phone is generally the property of the person's employer. Apple has provided default encryption on its iPhone since 2014, allowing any device's contents to be accessed only by the user who knows the phone's passcode. Previously, the company could use an extraction tool that would physically plug into the phone and allow it to respond to search warrant requests from the government. The magistrate's order requires that the software Apple provides be programmed to work only on Farook's phone. It said Apple has 5 days to notify the court if it believes the ruling is unreasonably burdensome. It was not immediately clear what investigators believe they might find on Farook's work phone, though investigators think the device may hold clues about whom the couple communicated with and where they may have traveled. The phone was running the newest version of Apple's iPhone operating system. It was configured to erase data after 10 consecutive unsuccessful unlocking attempts. The FBI said that feature appeared to be active on Farook's iPhone as of the last time he performed a backup. Farook and Malik took pains to physically destroy 2 personally owned cell phones, crushing them beyond the FBI's ability to recover information from them. They also removed a hard drive from their computer. It has not been found, despite investigators diving for days for potential electronic evidence in a nearby lake. Farouk was not carrying his work iPhone during the attack. It was discovered after a subsequent search. Investigators are still working to piece together a missing 18 minutes in Farouk and Malik's timeline from that day. Investigators have concluded that they were at least partly inspired by the Islamic State group. Malik's Facebook page included a note pledging allegiance to the group's leader around the time of the attack. Once again, we get news of a fatal accident on Route 395 Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. 2 people were killed and 7 injured when a 2002 Ford Excursion apparently had a tire failure while traveling and threw the van out of control. A 32-year-old female driver lost control of the van as it skidded across the roadway, eventually rolling over. The front passenger, a 29-year-old male, and a juvenile that was riding in the rear of the Excursion suffered fatal injuries. All injured occupants were taken to Antelope Valley Hospital. Their injuries were moderate to severe. Route 395 stayed closed for over an hour during the incident. The CHP believes that all occupants were wearing seatbelts. At Wednesday's City Council meeting, Mike Neal came to the podium during public comment and reported that the receiver in charge of the Howard property cleanup project is going to file papers to sell Howard's properties. The receiver has not been paid for the project. In the court case against Howard, the court ruled that he could clean up the property himself, or the city would get it cleaned and bill him the costs. After Howard failed to clean the property as the court ordered, a receiver was appointed to clean the property. The current amount now owed is about $60,000. So far, the receiver has been paid about $50,000. The city still has a claim against Howard for attorney fees of over $300,000. The city has made no move to collect those fees yet. After the property gets sold, the receiver gets paid first. Then the remaining funds would be allotted back to the city. Another alternative would be for Howard to refinance the property to get the funds. But to date, Howard has not done that. The cleanup of this property has been a 15-year event. The property cleanup is just about done now. Now stay with us for news about the presidential campaigns when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. In presidential campaign news, Wednesday evening both CNN and MSNBC hosted town hall meetings for the Republican candidates. They were set up very strange, though. MSNBC hosted a 1-hour town hall with Trump, the only candidate. CNN hosted a 2-hour town hall with other candidates. In this newscast, I'll cover the MSNBC Trump town hall. Tomorrow, I'll cover the CNN town hall. The Trump town hall was very interesting. The moderators opened with really banging on Trump for being so harsh on the other candidates. Trump defended himself with the statement that he has not attacked anyone that hasn't attacked him first. He went on that all the other candidates are spending millions of PAC funds to run TV commercials telling lies about his record. He said if they stopped running the ads, he would stop defending himself and attacking them. But as long as they continue, he has to defend himself. He supported some of his counters against Cruz by saying that even Rubio has joined him in criticizing Cruz in his illegal campaign tricks. Trump explained he finds these campaign tricks to be very dishonest and wrong. Trump fielded questions from the audience. Many, but not all the questions were from younger people. More than one questioner seemed to mirror sentiment from the Sanders campaign about making college affordable or free. Trump said that without a doubt, college has gotten more expensive, and he advocates going into the schools and finding out what is driving the high cost of education. If there's anything the federal government can do to drive down the costs, then that should be done. When he was asked for specifics on health care, the moderators questioned his ability to pay for his claim that everyone will be covered for health care under his plan. He was asked how is he going to pay for it. He started with a multifaceted answer. First, prescription drugs costs need to be reduced. He believes it's time for the feds to negotiate with the drug companies to set reasonable drug prices. He continued that Medicaid and Medicare will continue. He said that he'll start health savings plans. He stated that through the elimination of waste, fraud, and abuse of the current system, billions of dollars could be saved and go towards paying for the program. Another question asked was how he is going to get Mexico to pay for the border wall. He called it negotiations. He said that Mexico makes billions of dollars off the U.S. every year. He would negotiate with them that if they don't pay for the wall, they would suffer economic penalties. When pushed for details of the penalties, Trump said a good negotiator does not disclose details of his plan before even starting a negotiation. Anyway, he had the time to share more details of his plans with more time allotted. It was amazing watching CNN after the town hall and how all the commentators were aghast in Trump's decorum and lack of specifics in his plans. I mean, they were over the top, exclaiming their displeasure with Trump, and very demeaning to anyone that would consider supporting him and calling them stupid. When will they learn? Their attacks only help Trump, and he will not be brought down. Well, how about some fun news? Fun news for the kids. Well, it's carnival time again in Ridgecrest, starting today. Police and Citizens Together, PACT, is once again presenting the Spring Carnival. It is a fundraiser for PACT. The carnival will be behind Leroy Jackson Park, across from La Mirage housing area, and by the city skate park. PACT gets 20% of the proceeds of this event. The carnival will be here until Sunday. It starts Thursday, February 18th, and runs through Sunday, February 21st. On Thursday and Friday, it'll run from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday, noon to 11, and Sunday, noon to 9. So get ready for a carnival, everyone, and help support PACT. PACT is the main volunteer organization that supports the Ridgecrest Police Department. It's carnival time in Ridgecrest. Now it's time for the 119th KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. Will we get a new Supreme Court judge during the Obama administration? Since Judge Scalia's death, all Republicans have said that Obama should not appoint a replacement. Republicans want the next president to have the task. Well, I do believe Obama will make an appointment and send it to the Senate for advice and consent. I think it's clear that Republicans see this appointment as a very important one. The court now sits in a general tie, 4-4. 4 liberal leading judges and 4 conservative leading judges. There are many cases waiting for decisions right now, and there were some really important ones waiting to be heard by the court. No decisions have to be made, though. Pending cases and new cases can be held without decision and carried over to the next session next year. Both conservatives and liberals see this appointment as one that could change the course of the country. Most of the cases are political in nature. Big ones concerning Obamacare and presidential executive orders are pending. These are huge cases with the future power of the president's office at task. Conservatives believe that Obama has overreached his authority and issued illegal executive orders. Liberals believe the orders were necessary because the Congress would not act on the issues, and the president went around Congress to do what he and liberals want. This decision is critical, and I would add a note of caution to liberals. You just might not want these orders to be approved by the Supreme Court, because just as it is believed that Obama has overstepped his authority, if the court approves the orders can be just as easily retracted by a future president. So it really comes down to just how much authority do you want the president to have. As far as appointing to replace Scalia, I believe the president will make an appointment to the Congress. I highly doubt the Congress will even take it up for consideration. But what remains is to see just who Obama puts up. What kind of judge will he propose? This will be interesting. Our country is so split now between liberals and conservatives. No one wants to give in to the other side. And that's because we the people want the people we elect to stand strong in their beliefs, to not just negotiate away core values for the purpose to get along. And that's what it comes down to, core values. Core values we all carry with us. Core values we all learn at a very early age. Not political positions on issues, real deep-seated core values. That is what is at stake. And the general positions our core values come from strong religious beliefs on what is right and wrong. And therein lies the problem. Conservatives, and as Justice Scalia stated many times, he made decisions based on the Founding Fathers' intent of the Constitution. Today's liberals believe the Constitution is a living document that needs to be changed in accordance with current beliefs. And the appointment of the next judge will fall into one of those categories, thereby sending the court in its current path or changing the court for years to come. This is probably the most important issue of the day. In conclusion, I do believe Obama will provide an appointment, and I have little belief that Congress will take up the appointment. This is just too big of an issue at this time in our country. I'm Tom Whitnick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Now stay with us for weather and sports after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Lane for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, a strong frontal system will bring heavy mountain snowfall to the Cascades and the Sierra Nevada mountain ranges through Thursday. 1 to 2 feet of snow could accumulate over the higher elevations of the Sierra. Lower elevations could see moderate to locally heavy rainfall and gusty winds. Travel may be impacted. Temperatures across the nation: Carolinas at 45, Georgia at 55, Arkansas at 71, Northern Texas at 79, Arizona at 75, and Los Angeles at 61. And for us locally, tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 36, south-southwest wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 67, south-southwest wind 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts as high as 30. Friday night, partly cloudy with a low around 36, west wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 69, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, mostly clear with a low around 38, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday, sunny with a high near 73, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, mostly clear with a low around 40, south-southwest wind 5 miles per hour. And Monday, sunny with a high near 57, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And that is your forecast for the IWV. Now back to Tom.
Thanks, Lane. And now here's Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Thursday early evening to everyone. Let's start with college basketball last night. From the top 25 teams, Miami beats Virginia Tech on the road last night in Blacksburg. Xavier, the number 8 team in all the land, beats Providence. Villanova has a good win over Temple. Villanova, the number 1 team in the NCAA at the moment, and I say at the moment because things change very quickly. Texas Tech beat Oklahoma. St. Joseph's beat number 15 Dayton. That was an upset. That game played in Dayton. And probably the upset of the night, number 4 Iowa loses to Penn State at State College, 79-75. Georgetown loses to Seton Hall. Indiana, number 22, defeats Nebraska. Louisville has a nice win over Syracuse. Louisville, though, not eligible to play postseason this year because of the scandal in Louisville. Arizona beats Arizona State badly. That game played down in Tucson, 99-61, one of the worst defeats for Arizona State against their in-state rival. And locally, San Jose State loses to Nevada, UC Irvine beats Cal State Fullerton, and Fresno State beats Wyoming. Now, the USC Trojans having a very good season under Andy Enfield in his 3rd year at USC. USC was down most of the game. USC, with about 6.5, 7 minutes to go, went into a zone, and that was about the last time that Colorado scored. The Buffaloes were up by 12 points with about 9 minutes and change left and ended up getting outscored badly, 26-7 in the last few minutes, the last 8 minutes of the game, and USC goes on to win easily by 9 points. That game played over at USC. NHL last night, Chicago, Colorado, Minnesota, all winners. NBA resumes tonight. The Clippers are at home against San Antonio. San Antonio, the number 1 team out of the Southwest Division of the NBA. And tomorrow night, San Antonio will travel to play the Lakers at Staples. That game at 7:30. The Lakers right now 9 wins on the year. They find themselves last in the Pacific Division, more than likely out of the playoff hunt. Boy, Golden State, what a year those guys have had. 48 wins, 4 losses at the All-Star break. The best record ever in the NBA at the All-Star break. Incredible, incredible. Okay, let's talk about what's happened locally. Last night in high school basketball in the playoffs, Trona defeats Westmark Christian 56-40. That game at Trona. Now their next opponent will be Lone Pine, and that'll be a very interesting game. And then Emmanuel Christian lost last night in their first round game to Aquinas. Aquinas a lot larger school. That's a tough chore that the Crusaders had to draw in the first round. Okay, Saracoso baseball in action Thursday against Imperial Valley. We'll let you know tomorrow what happens. Doubleheader up at the Dog Yard. And also tonight, it'll be girls high school basketball playoffs, first round CIF Southern Section. The Burros will host Rubidoux. Burros will get the win tonight. They'll be on the road, probably play down at Pasadena Saturday. And then if they win that game, they would come home and play next Tuesday night or next Thursday night in a quarterfinal game. And that would probably be at home, but again, it would go to a coin flip. We'll see what happens. Burros tonight should get the win, and it'll be a good battle on Saturday down in Pasadena. That's your sports for this Thursday. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.